Next recipient, Robert Ryan. Bob Ryan was a graduate of class of 1965 at Willowbrook, where he participated in football for 4 years, baseball for 4 years, gymnastics for 2. He was the most valuable athlete for the John A. Fisher Award in 1965. All-conference honorable mention in football in 1965 as well as baseball. He was captain of the varsity football team and captain of the varsity baseball team. Some of his non-athletic accomplishments including outstanding senior. He also received the United States Navy ROTC 4-year scholarship to the University of Oklahoma. He also participated in military service to the United States of America as a naval officer for 21 years. Naval Commendation Medal 1972 to 75 for logistics excellence. Joint Service Commendation Medal for logistics excellence. Volunteered to serve in country during the Vietnam War from 1970 and 71. 100% VA permanent disability due to Agent Orange exposure in Vietnam, and he had his undergraduate degree from the University of Oklahoma and a Master's of Arts degree from the University of Dayton. Quoted by Bob Ryan, again, in my coaches who are the ones that guided me, instructed me, and permitted me to realize that sportsmanship is invaluable to good citizenship and patriotism. Without my passion for and participation in sports, as well as my innate desire to serve the community, I never would have made the patriotic choices that I did make. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Ryan.
Good evening, everyone. It's really great to be back in Chicago. I'm very fond of this area, Villa Park, Lombard. And it's a great honor to be an alumnus of Willowbrook and a Distinguished Alumni. The 4 years at Willowbrook provided me a foundation in excellence that was critical in the development of who I was to become in future years. First, let me share with you what I don't remember. Sometime in November 1946, could have been late October, not quite sure. An awesome God created my soul with the assistance of my co-creators, Clarence Ryan and Claire Betts. There's something in the name. My dad's full name was Clarence Franklin Ryan Jr. Mom would not have that. Made me Bob, and I really thank her for that. That's the truth. He placed in me special gifts of body, character, and personality that remained with me throughout my lifetime. Thank you, God. Thank you very much. And a special thanks to my mom. Early in life, in the first trimester of life, Mom contracted German measles. In those days, that only pointed towards to a deformed child. Abortion was recommended by her doctor. Thank you, Mom, for having the extreme courage to carry me to term. My mom saved my life. And yes, I was born with a hearing deficit that was to get progressively worse through the years, and is called by my beautiful wife, Minerva, a definite selective hearing deficit, manifested daily. Now let me share with you some of the things I do remember. Some highlights of a very rich and rewarding life experience. The process of becoming was only a vague idea to me as I approached Willowbrook High School in August of 1961. It was a hot day as I walked to my first day of freshman football practice. Life has its challenges. My first high school challenge was to work extremely hard, becoming the starting freshman high school quarterback. Here comes Coach. I came to know, as all of us who played freshman football, Mr. Al Vandenberg. I remember well very well the veins in his neck. And his voice. Oh, it's in my memory. Ryan, stop pussyfooting. Tackle. I did become starting freshman quarterback that year. And everyone knows there's a special relationship between a quarterback and its center. It has to do with the quarterback's hands before the snap. That year in August, I met a man by the name of Claude Protz, Ted Cunningham's first cousin. We graduated from high school, and I went to the University of Oklahoma. Claude went into the Army in 1966. He went to Vietnam in 1966, and I went to Vietnam in 1970. I served in the Navy for 21 years as a supply corps officer. And as mentioned before, I became 100% disabled because of Agent Orange exposure. But Claude gave his life for his country. When I visit the Vietnam Memorial once or twice, 3 times a year, I always go to Claude's name and I touch it. We had a special relationship, and all the Willowbrook graduates, I think there was 8 of us, who gave the ultimate sacrifice of their lives for their country. My Willowbrook days were quite wonderful. Lots of academic and athletic work. Homecoming games, float construction, letterman's clubs, dances, class presidents rolling chocolate-covered peanuts down the gym floor, girlfriends, 60s music. My college days at the University of Oklahoma were nothing like my high school days. More serious academics, in preparation for a career in the Navy, and maybe a little bit of partying here and there. My Navy days were exciting. A tour in Vietnam, 2 ship tours, shore stations in the Department of Defense Contract Management. My favorite anecdote about life at sea had to do with being at sea in 1977, near Thanksgiving. We were in a hurricane. I was on a destroyer. It's a small ship. And we were taking 45-degree rolls, up and down, left and right, for at least a day. You can imagine what was going on the ship. Food going over all the place, and people getting sick. And the captain of the ship called me. I was the supply officer, so I was responsible for the Thanksgiving Day preparations. He says, "How's it going, Suppo? How's the Thanksgiving preparations going?" I said, "Captain, the turkeys look okay, but the pies and the cakes are going to be a little crooked and look weird." So whenever the ship was in port, we went around all the Western world, Black Sea, Mediterranean countries. And I took just about every port. I took Christian men ashore, and we went to orphanages. And we painted, and we did everything that we could do to help these orphans. I still remember an orphanage near Dakar, Senegal. I was on the beach. I was holding a little girl in my hands, and keeping in mind I had 2 small daughters back in the U.S. So I'm looking east to west. And she was in my arms, and it was a touching moment in my life. My post-Navy life was spent teaching in secondary school. In Maryland at an all-boys school, high school, and in Puerto Rico in an all-girls school. I can honestly say girls are smarter than boys. At least at that age. Now I spend most of my time teaching adults and Christian education at Bolling Air Force Base in D.C. I'm an advocate for poor men and families, and I do pro bono work as a SAT tutor in my church community. In closing, I'd like to thank all my siblings, 3 of them who are here tonight, Mike, Mary, and Jimmy, all Willowbrook graduates, for their love over the years, my wonderful wife, Minerva, who is a special spouse, and to my daughters, Patty and Clarissa, for being so very special young women. To Claire Phyllis, sitting at my table, also a Willowbrook graduate and a classmate, for nominating me for this award of Distinguished Alumni of Willowbrook High School. And lastly, I want to express my appreciation to all of the inductees this evening and teachers for giving so much of themselves through the years. Thank you very much.